Okay, hello. Nice to see you this morning. I'm Jordan Aaron.
And I'm Chris Melka. I was going to introduce myself, thank you very much.
Well, you know what? I just did not care.
Thanks.
This is the first episode of Mordi and Melka in the morning.
Yes, we came up with that title 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I liked it. That was on Melka's behalf, Chris Melka, and I gotta say it was pretty good. The alliteration worked pretty well.
Yeah, I mean everybody uses alliteration, but it was the best thing we had.
You're ruining it. This is like the only good part of the show, and you completely ruined it.
All right, okay.
We got some good stuff to talk about today. We got some news.
Yes, in the realm of film.
Yes, that is a good thing to mention. This is a movie podcast.
We probably should have said that at the beginning.
So if you're looking for a political commentary, go to Rush Limbaugh.
We'll do that. No.
Or not. Don't do that. That's a bad choice.
That would be a terrible
That's a bad
idea.
choice. Today we're going to talk about some news.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about our favorite music and movies. We're not just talking about scores or musicals, just the best music used in movies. So it could be like pop music and all that stuff.
Well, we're covering all the bases.
All the bases.
Every single base.
Yes.
Yeah, all your bases are belong to us, you could say.
Chris, I think you took that one too far. we're in too deep.
We've got to go deeper. That's a movie reference.
Okay.
Okay, let's get on with it.
So the first news story is, now this one you'll like because you said you saw this already.
Yeah, I did.
But the Godzilla trailer, the teaser trailer that was at Comic-Con was on the internet, it was leaked. You said you saw it. I didn't see it, so tell us about that.
It was up for a few hours. I mean, they were pretty swift to take it down. For some reason, Legendary is being really, really secretive about this movie, and I'm not sure why. They have something planned, clearly. They're clearly proud of this Godzilla movie because they're like, we have to keep it a secret. Like, we have to
Well, because that's good news, because all these movies, all these like summer movies that have been coming out, you see trailer 1, trailer 2, there's like trailer 7, you see everything in the movie. They're so out there in the open. J.J. Abrams keeps everything secret.
Yeah,
and it works well for him.
Like when the 1996 American Godzilla was coming out, the Roland Emmerich film, there were like 70 billion trailers for that thing.
It's ridiculous.
And they were like, there was a huge advertising campaign, and it couldn't be more different for this movie. They're really trying to be really like they're playing it as carefully as possible,
which is good.
I guess they're worried they'll annoy fans or something.
Well, trailers are ridiculous. I remember I was watching the Super Bowl last year. Iron Man 3 teaser trailer came out, and from there I was like, oh, that looks really good. 10 trailers at least came after that, and the movie wasn't even good. It was like so much hype, and I didn't even like the movie that much. Now, granted,
I kind of like the movie.
I saw it in 3D, which was the worst experience of my life. After Harry Potter Part 7, Part 2.
Part 7,
3D,
Part 2.
Because that one, Harry Potter had 3 heads at like the most important part of the movie. It really annoyed me. But Iron Man 3 was disappointing. The trailers that like made it look like it was going to be the most godly thing ever made. But I
don't know about that, but a good example I'd use would be Prometheus, actually, the movie that came out, Ridley Scott's Alien sort of prequel, sort of not, that came out last year. The trailers basically revealed the whole plot. Like, they were showing the big alien ship crashing. And that happens at the end of the movie. That's a major event, so it's like, okay, well...
You know, that reminds me, because in the Ender's Game trailer, it starts off with, spoiler alert, the whole ending of the book scene.
Yeah!
Which really bothered me.
The
whole trailer for Ender's Game is based around the last scene of the second to last scene of the book, like the climax. So anybody who read that book is upset. And everyone who hasn't read that book and sees the movie is going to be upset. It's a disappointment. But you talked about Ridley Scott. He actually has a new movie coming out.
He does?
I'm trying to find the name.
Is it Prometheus 2?
I really would not be a fan. But it's got Brad Pitt in it. Dean Norris from Breaking Bad.
I like him. He's a good actor.
Blade Runner, I think it's called. I'm gonna have to get.
Are you telling me you don't know Blade Runner?
No, not Blade Runner. That's with Harrison Ford. What is this one? It's with you know what? Never mind. But I
I'm
saw
like,
I saw a trailer.
Blade
It
Runner.
has-
I think that might have come out already.
Yeah. Oops. Well, I saw that on the news the other day though because Harrison Ford said he's going to be in it.
I think they're remaking Blade Runner.
Yeah, they're
actually. making
remaking
a
it.
sequel to it. I don't know. It's a
But
little
it's called Blade Runner 2. But
Really?
Dean Norris and
Oh,
Brad
that's
Pitt
lazy.
are in it. Now I was excited and Javier Bardem. You like Javier Bardem?
Oh yeah, he's
And
phenomenal.
I was really excited. I'm definitely gonna see it. I can't exactly find. It might be called The Counselor, I think.
Counselor.
Let me check. Yeah, The Counselor. IMDb says a lawyer finds himself in over his head when he gets involved in drug trafficking. So Dean Norris is in this, and I'm assuming it's gonna be just like Breaking Bad, where he was a DEA agent, and you got a lawyer who finds himself in over his head. So that's very much like Saul Goodman. So we'll see. It might be Breaking Bad the movie.
Well,
Is any
you
of
know-
these people a chemistry teacher?
I really like courthouse dramas, and I like those crazy drug like heist / whatever films where somebody's working in drugs and things are getting crazy and there's conspiracies and whatnot. Anyway, but back to Godzilla.
Yeah, back to Godzilla. How did we get here? Oh my
yeah, we went on
god.
a tangent, but anyway.
Oh my god.
So yeah, they've been very secretive about the film, but I did get to see the teaser trailer before it was taken down, and I can say that it looks pretty fantastic. They're definitely not going for that cheesy Godzilla that we kind of know him as, like
So it's kind of like taking the Christopher Nolan turn on Godzilla.
No, not really. They're kind of taking it back to the original Godzilla, because I don't know if you've ever seen the original Godzilla film. I don't think you have.
I haven't now.
All right, I have. It's really a very
Like
dark
such an
film.
idiot now.
There is not nearly the cheese you would see in the later Godzilla films. And as much as I like them, they're cheesy. They're silly, and that's okay.
Well, I like sometimes the cheesy works.
Okay, yeah, but the original Godzilla was extremely dark, extremely violent actually. Like you saw people dying because of Godzilla's rampaging, and you saw like mass funerals and whatnot. It's really kind of terrifying. So I guess they're kind of going back to that tone. And Garth Edwards, I believe that's the director's name,
Oh yeah.
has stated he has a message that he wants to send, because obviously the original Godzilla had kind of like that anti-nuclear weapons message going for it. And I think with this one, I don't quite know what he's going for, but it's going to have something to do with conflicts in the past decade or so. And I guess that means like Iraq and Afghanistan, because this is a Hollywood movie. It's not Toho doesn't have too much involvement. They basically just kind of gave their blessing to the film. They're like, you can make this. So we'll see where they go with it, because the first trailer is as I said, it kind of has that dark tone. Like a lot of it's just kind of shots of destruction that Godzilla's created. And they're very impressive shots of destruction. The most interesting thing is, and a lot of people have pointed this out, you see like the apparent corpse of another monster that looks like a centipede or something, and I guess Godzilla's going to be fighting other monsters in this movie. That's kind of what they seem to be implying, and that's kind of interesting, because usually the darkest Godzilla movies only have him just kind of destroying things. So I'm curious to see how they use. I know this is going to sound silly, but I wonder how like the presence of another monster will affect the message of the film, because apparently there is a message to this whole thing, or so the director claims.
So, not to interrupt you, but to completely drastically change the topic of this discussion, we have, just because we've been going for like 9 minutes on this one subject, but you got the King Kong reboot, and they're saying it's going to be back to Skull Island, which is interesting. And I'll just put a quote in. We won't spend really any time on this one because there's really not that much information, but they said, "We're very concerned with honoring Marion C. Cooper's legacy in Hollywood. We want to make sure that whatever we deliver will honor his memory." So it's good to see they're handling that with respect. I know that I wasn't the biggest fan of the 2006 one. Was it?
It's 2005.
2005.
I was not. I didn't hate it. I thought it was. I thought it was a decent film. I mean, Peter Jackson is an extremely capable filmmaker, as we've seen in Lord of the Rings.
Well,
and,
did you think
and
that it
Meet
was,
the Feebles, of course.
Did you think that it was kind of weird seeing Jack Black playing that type of role?
It was.
I mean, you're used to like the School of Rock Jack Black, and he came in playing in King Kong, and it just kind of threw me off.
Yeah, you know, seeing him in the film was kind of weird, and I'm going to go on a brief tangent. I think kind of what hurt that film ultimately was it was a bit just kind of overindulgent in itself. Like, it went a bit too far in how it presented itself. Like, obviously in the original film, King Kong fights a T-Rex, and that's a pretty major scene. And in the most recent Peter Jackson adaptation, remake, whatever you're gonna call it, he fights 3 T-Rexes simultaneously, and like they go off a cliff and they're like hanging on vines. Like it was too much in my opinion. And I think Peter Jackson, if he had just scaled it back a little and he had taken out some unnecessary scenes, maybe like made the dinosaur scenes a little less stupid, because there's a lot of stupid dinosaur scenes. You think I'd like the dinosaur scenes? They're really dumb. Like there's a scene when there's a stampede of sauropods and they're running somehow, even though these things weigh like 50, 60 tons.
I just liked my favorite part of that movie was King Kong falls off of the Empire State Building.
Actually, I really like that whole last sequence.
No, it looked really good. There's just something about it that really annoyed me. Like with Jack Black comes up and he's like, "Oh man."
That should have been what he actually said.
Oh man. And it was just like, it's like, that's how you're gonna.
No, he should have done like a Tenacious D number with Kyle Gass or something.
King Kong is dead. King Kong.
This is not the greatest King Kong movie in the world, or something like that.
Okay, we'll go to the next one.
Now, is this is this King Kong reboot? Is Peter Jackson involved in this?
I can't find it here now. I'm trying to. I didn't see much information on this. I'm reading this off of Screen Rant.
Always reliable.
It does, but I don't know. Peter Jackson's a great.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I just wonder. I wonder if like Legendary will end up distributing this so we can have another King Kong versus Godzilla film, because that would be amazing.
Okay, on to the next one.
There's more. But wait, there's more.
But wait, this one there's not really much of anything to talk about. This is my most anticipated movie of the year. But The Wolf of Wall Street, Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Matthew McConaughey, coming out November 15th, and there's a new trailer supposed to come out soon. Now, there's obviously no dates. So
I'm
there's
excited.
not much to talk about here. I'm extremely excited.
The film looks excellent.
Every time Scorsese and DiCaprio do something, I happen to love the movie, except for Gangs of New York, which I thought was a little bit annoying.
Actually, I like that movie. I just don't care for Leonardo DiCaprio's role.
Yeah, well, I just thought they like overindulged on. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Bill the Butcher is pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, I didn't like how. I don't even know how to. There's this like overindulgence of like the violence, like they do the slow mo of the citizens getting. And I know that's like Martin Scorsese stylized violence, and I just can't. I can't.
You can't.
I can't. I wasn't a fan of it. Next one.
Anyway, yeah, I'm excited for that trailer. That film looks great.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It's based on.
It's Scorsese.
It's written by one of the writers of The Sopranos.
Really?
Terry Winter.
Oh. I didn't even know that.
Based off the book by, I think, Jordan Belfort. That's the main character.
I haven't read the book.
And he's saying that all the proceeds are going back to paying everyone he ripped off, which is more than Bernie Madoff can say for himself. They got Tarantino's top 10. Talk about alliteration. We won't say every movie that made the list. I was happy that independent films like Blue Jasmine made it.
Yeah.
But I gotta say,
Lone
Ranger?
The Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger was on that list.
Really, Quentin? I mean, look, it's his opinion, but here's the thing. People make such a big deal out of his opinion because Quentin Tarantino is kind of like viewed as this god now. And when he's putting films like The Lone Ranger in his top 10, I'm kind of going like, Are you sure about that?
But also, I mean, look at Quentin Tarantino. Like, we're seeing it was overpaid for. Stupid and cheesy. Yeah. But he loves cheesy stuff. And you're talking about this guy who watched all these movies, all this stuff as a kid. So he's also seeing his childhood here. So I wish I could like interview him and see what he thought.
I mean,
like why he liked it so much.
It's not even like I can't, because I mean, again, like Tarantino is also like a big Western guy.
Well, because
obviously we know he's a big.
He put a Western into a slave movie and a Western into a Holocaust movie. Well, not Holocaust, a World War II movie.
Well, I mean, I'm talking like he's expressed his love for like Sergio Leone's films, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and whatnot, as you probably know. I mean, and if that's something he's passionate about, that's okay. Like for example, I saw a film this summer that a lot of people would deem to be stupid, but I loved it anyway, called Pacific Rim. That was a movie about giant robots fighting giant monsters, and you know what? Here's the thing:
monsters versus aliens, but less PC.
I grew up with watching movies like Godzilla, so that movie kind of spoke to me in a way that I don't think many people could have related. So it's like, you know what?
So
if he likes that thing,
It's
that's his thing.
reasonable that he likes it. I don't know how anyone could have liked it, but it's reasonable that he liked it.
I personally thought it was a cynically made film that was trying to cash in on the success of Pirates of the Caribbean. But what do I know? I'm not Tarantino.
Tim Burton, Johnny Depp, you know. But last one. This one really hit me personally. I was very angry when I heard this. Willem Dafoe definitely coming back for Finding Dory. So that means Gil is coming back. And then he said that it should be better than Finding Nemo. No way. Part of Finding Nemo was part of the fact that Dory was part of the finding crew. Like, they ended up with these jellyfish and the turtles.
You remember the jellyfish the most?
I thought it was an interesting scene.
No, it is a good scene.
It was well animated, very well done.
Oh no, beautiful animation, especially for the time.
Yeah, especially you're getting a bunch of jellyfish and their tentacles.
They look like real jellyfish, which is weird because most of the other animals don't look like they're real animals.
Yeah,
it's the jellyfish and the whale do, but like the most of the fish are kind of they're cartoonish, look a little more like have anthropomorphic faces and whatnot.
What was the main character fish dad's name in that movie? I forget. Oh my god, I have to look it up.
Marlin?
Yes. Part of that whole great shtick of Dory was the fact that you got Marlin, who is a complete control freak.
Yeah.
And you got Dory, who's on that wall before she's on that wall. And it's ridiculous. And that's half of the comedy of it, where like they go into the shark den and fish are friends, not food, and she's like, oh, I got best friends with sharks and stuff like that, you know. And you're gonna have to basically make the same movie where Nemo turns into his dad and his dad turns into Nemo. There's no way it's gonna be better than Finding Nemo. That's all I'm saying.
Well, in my opinion, Finding Nemo is a film that is so well thought out and so well put together, and it tells a story on its own, and it's one of those things where I'm feeling, do we really need another
well, also,
film?
why is Gil coming back?
How is he relevant? Like,
are they gonna end up in the exact same fish tank in the exact same dentist office?
Well, no. We saw at the end of the first Finding Nemo that actually they all escaped, but how would they meet up with Nemo and friends?
Well, they're gonna have to end up back in Australia. I doubt that.
Well, they're in Australia. They were in Sydney last.
But they're gonna have to end up right back in that sewage system and everything, and that's just like, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a stretch.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
I like Willem Dafoe. His latest role, I believe, was in Beyond Two Souls,
which is very relevant to the Disney universe.
Yes, yes, clearly, a video game.
Beyond Two Souls, a Pixar presentation. Okay, let's move on to the sole purpose of this podcast because we're running really long right now. Best movie music.
Best movie music. Pulp Fiction.
Okay. What's your favorite song in Pulp Fiction? Don't say Mazer Luke because that one's mine, but I'll change mine.
That was mine. It's probably Jungle Boogie.
I like that the two most memorable songs of that movie came in the opening credits.
Yeah, I mean, Tarantino is just so good at making use of music. Like, even in his more recent ones, like Django, when the bit at the big spoilers, the big firefight at the end, and we have we have like Tupac and James Brown coming in simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, Tarantino knows how to use music.
He's
a master.
Song called 100 Black Coffins by Rick Ross in a movie about slavery.
And it worked! It worked!
It worked. I like Meeserloo because you start off and you got these two like morons that are about to rob a diner that's empty as all could be in the morning, and you don't even see them till the last 10 minutes of the movie, which is like 2 hours and 35-minute differential.
That's Pulp Fiction for you.
And it just goes, and it's like you know exactly where this movie is going to take you. I think it just sets the stage so well, and he does that. He saw that in Reservoir Dogs with with what was the song? That's one of my favorite songs. With I'm gonna sing it on the microphone.
What better way to present
I'm blanking so much today, and I got my whole Quentin Tarantino playlist on Spotify. It has like 56 songs or something.
Want to know something funny? I'm not
Little
surprised
Green
by
Bag.
that. Oh, yes.
I would play it, but we have copyright rules.
Darn copyright laws.
I'm so
spoiling our
annoyed.
fun. But what about scores? What about like orchestral scores?
Now, you'll always say that your favorite is Lord of the Rings, right?
My favorite is probably Lord of the Rings, yeah.
See, now, I saw Lord of the Rings, and I saw it with you, and I saw it with Chris Pohl. And that movie was so hyped, and I was like, this music is not that good. And to that, I was shunned and beaten.
Yes,
And
I will
was sent
shun
to the
you
hospital.
again. I can't believe you said that.
I had 3 broken legs.
Yes.
And 7 broken arms, and it was
Yes.
It was weird. And I could not get into that score. I didn't think it was that amazing. Now, it was definitely way above average. I just didn't think it was the best score ever written. Now, if you asked me what score was the best score ever written, I wouldn't be able to tell you because there's a lot of good ones. But I just couldn't say that it's my favorite score ever.
I think the Lord of the Rings score did a fantastic job of building up the world, giving a sense of culture to Middle-earth, and being completely epic at
Well,
times.
yeah.
Like, there's so many great themes there. Like, you know, like when they're in Rohan, like do 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 do.
Well, you know, but you can get into that whole thing with John Williams and Star Wars, where every character had their own theme. Or pretty much. I mean, all the big characters.
Yeah, that's what makes a great score, in my opinion. See, that's kind of what the thing about Hans Zimmer scores that throw me off. I really can't tell the themes apart. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of like.
But think about this with Hans Zimmer in Inception. The music in Inception was his. Well, you know what? But his scores aren't personal; they're situational.
Yeah, they're kind of to enhance the immediate situation. Like, John Williams scores can kind of be listened to on their own. Hans Zimmer scores.
I'll sit down and listen to the.
Yeah, but like, you're never gonna listen to the Joker's theme from The Dark Knight full willing because it will.
Does he even have a Joker's theme?
A Joker's theme?
Is that
Yeah,
like
it's
an actual thing? You don't listen to that?
No, sorry.
That's a disgrace. I can't even believe you.
No, but here's the thing. Like, I would never listen to that full willing on my own. But
No, I don't
for
think
the
anyone would.
film, when it's used, it complements it perfectly. Like,
Well,
the interrogation
exactly, where
scene,
it
like,
complements, it's not
that's the
like an
point.
independent
You'll
music.
have
It
to
complements the
choose.
film. Exactly how you said it. And it works.
yeah.
But I gotta tell you, I think my favorite score, at least of this generation of movies, is Moonrise Kingdom.
I don't remember the music that much.
I would once again play it, but
Copyright
don't
laws.
want to get sued.
Copyright laws.
But it was really good. It's very simple. It's all basically the same motif, and they just keep working on it, like in different ways. And it works so well because you got the story of Moonrise Kingdom, where there's innocence, where there's these 2 little kids going off into the big island of wherever it's called in like 1967 or something like that.
It had a name.
And I know, and I just can't remember it at all. I'm blanking really bad today, and I look like an idiot. But and it just like kicks into this whole like fantastical like journey type of thing of it all, where like Moonrise Kingdom itself is of so many levels, where it's a coming of age film, it's sort of like a fantasy film, it's an adventure film, it's a Camp Scout film, so it's on a lot of different levels, and the same thing with the music, I thought.
I guess the closest thing I can compare that to is Michael Giacchino. Is it Giacchino? Is that how you pronounce his name? The guy he did the score for Up, and he kind of did that same thing where it's like
that was so.
It's the same kind of motif over like the
But it works. It's not like they came up with the whole creativity of it.
And
all.
Michael Giacchino, I
we
feel
should
like
make our own music podcast where we just sing.
we should, but basically, Michael Giacchino, I feel like, is one of the most underrated composers.
He's very good.
Like he did Up. He's done some other films. I'm not forgetting. The one I think of the most off the top of my head is his his Star Trek scores, the ones he did for the latest movies, and I think those are fantastic. I think those really do have that John Williams feeling of like adventure and excitement, like the do 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 do. Come on, that's great.
Yeah,
he makes some really exciting music.
What? Fired. Nothing.
But I mean, you know, again, a score needs to work for the film.
Yeah.
And Michael Giacchino, those scores worked for the Star Trek films, and Hans Zimmer, his score worked for Inception, because Inception was very much that kind of movie where it was supposed to be grounded in reality, and there were a lot of the nature of the scenes that were playing out, especially the action sequences, kind of were better suited to that kind of a score. Like a more like, just kind of fast strings like do 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 do, like just something like that. I mean, Hans Zimmer, I feel like, but the problem I feel with Hans Zimmer is he kind of defaults to that, even if like the Man of Steel score. And I know a lot of people like it.
This goes back to like stupid, like just low notes, like either like
it's
just like
the do more.
That's
I think I've only heard I haven't heard, some movies have used that, but some have done it well. Like there's I remember at the end of the Pacific Rim main theme, which is actually an excellent score. To anyone who's never heard, Ramin Djawadi's score for Pacific Rim is really, really good. But at the end of the main theme, there's the and it actually kind of worked there.
I think so. I just pulled something up on my computer.
Okay.
You can see it.
All right.
You know what it says.
Yes, that would be Ennio Morricone.
And he is synonymous with Western music.
Yes.
I mean, he does a lot of his own composing, but you got the good, the bad, and the ugly. You got a bunch of stuff from him. And, what makes him so good at Western music that he's so, like, such a go-to guy for that? And I really don't know. There's something about his music. Like, if you watch The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, and you sit there and you hear the music where there's, like, a simple epicness to that music.
To guys staring at each other for 5 minutes.
Boom, this wasn't him, but there's the man with the harmonica.
Boom, boom,
and that
boom,
song,
boom.
or that piece, or that score, or whatever you want to call it. And it...
Well,
I quit.
Well, I think the thing about Ennio Morricone was, first of all, not Western scores up until that point hadn't really had an identity. I mean, they kind of just followed that kind of Aaron Copland style.
Can we get somebody in here to fix this on air thing for me, please?
Western sound. Like, hold on, I'm talking.
Mike Parks, get in here.
There was like you had the Magnificent Seven, like the
Mike Parks.
Like there was that sort of thing, like kind of again, as I said before, in that Aaron Copland tradition of just kind of standard Western scores. And what happened with Ennio Morricone was he sort of gave an identity to it that hadn't really been there before. Like I mean, I can't really think of any scores that sound like that came prior. Obviously, it's been imitated endlessly since. But there's kind of like just this sort of it creates kind of like this music kind of creates this terrifying, brutal world. It creates very much like a Western type world, like no laws, survival of the fittest. Like there's kind of like that sense of just wildness to it that you just feel when you hear the music. It's kind of like with Gonna Fly Now in Rocky. There's just something about that song that gets you pumped.
Now the biology part of me, the neurobiologist inside of Jordan Aaron, is gonna say we only got 2 minutes left. Pretty intense. We still have to get to musicals, but no
musicals.
No.
I do like West Side Story a lot.
It's one of my favorites. Like Les Mis, and Chris Paul can come and argue with me. But
Les Mis is not that great.
I'm not saying the movie. I like the music. Now, what was I gonna say? You ruined the whole thing. I'm Jordan.
I derailed you with my opinion.
This is Chris Melka.
Yes, and I'm glad I came on to talk today. This has been Mordi and Melka.
Today is Melka and Mordi.
No, it's Mordi and Melka in the morning. You come first.
Mordi
and Melka in the morning.
1 second. I think Mike Parks has something to say. He's doing this.
There are hand signals.
There's hand signals? She can write us a pass. So you want to keep going?
Yes, if you can do it dry.
Okay. We're going to keep going.
Yeah, why not?
I'm still Jordan Aaron, and he's still Chris Melka.
I'm still Chris. I didn't change.
He didn't change. I can vouch for it.
Yeah.
I can see under the desk he did not change.
Yes.
Did I go there? Okay. What were we talking about? We're talking about Gonna Fly Now, right? And Rocky.
Yeah, we're talking about movie music.
I forget what I was gonna say.
I hope kind of with when it comes to music usage, I feel like kind of the problem that we see with a lot of directors is they don't realize how, like, they know they want to use a song, but they don't know how to use it. And I think that's something that sets. We're kind of going back to use of popular music now, but that's what sets Quentin Tarantino apart because when his music comes in, like you associate it with the action that's happening.
Yeah.
If you watch a movie like The Boondock Saints, music comes in for seemingly no reason at random points. Here's the thing. That's one of those movies that really wanted to be a Tarantino movie and failed.
But it's like if you look at Breakfast Club, and they had "Don't You Forget About Don't You Forget About Me." At the end.
Don't you forget about me.
Okay, let's keep singing. And
we should have a musical show.
But do you think that was indulgence? I mean, that whole movie was just contingent upon 80s rock music.
The whole movie wasn't contingent upon 80s rock music.
Every time you got a big outrage rampage from Bender, you had like this Metallica like guitar riff.
To be fair, in the defense of The Breakfast Club, I think one of its big advantages is that it's kind of a time capsule movie, in that like it sets the period of the 80s.
It's in the 80s, but it's universal.
Yeah, but it's still relatable. Like, for example, like Back to the Future. This is another film that isn't really like The Breakfast Club in any way. It's just that it was made in the 80s.
And you'll always know.
Yeah, but you know something? It works because it's not obnoxious and it works as a time capsule. Like there's a lot of that's the power of love. Like that song obviously is repeated several times. Like gotta get back in time. Like it's a really 80s movie. But it's
more of the cheesiness that came out of the 80s.
Yeah, but that's part of what gives it its identity.
Yeah. Okay, so I just got a false start call, but I'm assuming that means wrap it up. I'm assuming wrap it up.
Maybe it was a false start. Maybe we weren't recording.
Yeah, we weren't recording. We wasted all of our time.
Well, darn.
It's good discussion.
It was good talk.
It was really good, and I'm proud of us.
All right. Well, anyway. That was a joke. That was a joke.
It was a joke.
That was a joke. You dummy. You dummy.
Like, God.
Well, this has been
interns. He's upset that I said that.
We just got flipped off. This has been Mordi and Melka in the morning, talking about music in movies
and news.
Dude, we were on an alliteration spree, and you destroyed it.
Good night, or good morning.
Good night, and good night.
Bye.
And good
Enjoy
luck.
yourselves.
No, seriously, stay a while. No, you want to leave? Okay, fine. I mean, it's.
You really have to go.
It's raining right now.
It's pouring.
Yeah, I mean, I'd stay if I were you.
Baby, it's cold outside.